Okay, you guys, what is up? The King of Lightning is here today to One Piece episode 595 review. So, of course, before I get started, look down the description below for the link to this week's episode of One Piece Official, and the preview for next week's episode of One Piece, episode 597, all in the description down below. And, of course, a little bit of a disclaimer: no Japanese company, corporation, or network has any claim to this video. The thumbnail is an original photo which belongs to no Japanese company, corporation, or network. The visuals are me, they do not own me. And the audio is me speaking over a soundtrack or a homemade soundtrack. They do not own my voice. This video follows the rules and guidelines and regulations set and provided by Google/YouTube. Now, that being said, let me get a little bit closer here. Alright, okay, alright. Listen, yo. This week's episode of One Piece, I mean, as always, apparently nowadays, could have been better. Could have been a lot better. Particularly the pacing was slow. It was so goddamn slow. In my personal opinion, it was goddamn slow. The animation, of course, as always, could have been way better. I hate saying that. I really do. I really fucking do. Because in the manga, it looks like fucking... In the manga, it's awesome. It looks fucking epic. It's like, oh shit. Like, fights are actually portrayed better in the manga than the anime. And that shouldn't be the case. But it is the case. And it's like, fuck me. The fight between Luffy versus Tashigi and Smoker with their switched off bodies, that was okay. I mean, there was one scene that was pretty cool where we have Luffy like blitzing around in Gear Second, and that happened in the actual manga too, so that was fun. But you know, like, he was blitzing around doing his thing. He actually caught, you know, Smoker inside Tashigi's body very easily, because Smoker obviously can't fight at full power while he's inside someone else's body. That makes perfect sense. No shit. But you know, it's just that for me personally, it was just like, and there was one thing in this episode where I was like, God damn, like, really? It was Caesar Clown's monologue. I'm like, bro, what are you, Eisen? Like, holy, he went on a fucking monologue. And this thing, like, I shit you not, it was like 3 minutes of just him talking. And it was longer because in the manga, like, we had the scene, like you saw the scene where we see Sanji, Zoro, and Brook watching Smiley spit its pieces out into the actual sky to cross the giant lake to go from the burning side to the frozen side, alright? And it did the same thing in the manga, obviously. But the thing about it was that scene was put right in the middle of Caesar Clown's monologue. And even then, the monologue wasn't as long. Like, he went on, it seemed like for ages. It was like, and he was flying around and shit, twisting. Like, I'm like, what are you, Michael Jackson? What is this, man? Like, come on. I'm like, why are you doing that? Like what's the purpose of that, man? Like, it threw me off. But the episode, it ended off on a high note where you have Luffy just coming in there like, here you go. I caught him. Monkey D. Luffy caught him. So, I mean, hey, man. All I can say is that it's Luffy. Like, this is what he does. You think that he's gonna let some dude have a fucking monologue and him not come in there and blitz him? He's gonna come in there and blitz him. That's what he did. So, that was good. There's also one scene here where we see the kids. The kids are now starting to negate the effects of Usopp's sleeping gas star. And, I mean, these kids, they want their fucking candy. Like, they're crack addicts. Or, in this case, they're... I forgot the exact drug's name, but basically they're candy addicts, and they want their narcotics. So these kids are not gonna maintain their sleep because they want that fucking candy. So at some point, Usopp actually throws his sleeping star. The kids, they fall asleep, but after, like, they try and muscle out the chains, and that one guy, the blonde one, like the big blonde one, he is almost out of his chains. So we don't know what Usopp and Nami inside Sanji's body are gonna do now at this point in time. We can assume that they're gonna try and subdue these children, but the problem is that Nami, she's like really fucking soft when it comes to kids. Like Usopp could easily take one of his like plant stars, like the Venus flytrap one, or the use some kind of like vine to like restrain them, which will be stronger than the chains. But he's not doing it because you know Nami's gonna be like, you know, no, the children. It's like, oh, okay. I mean, it is good in the sense that mother. It is good when it comes to Nami's character standpoint for her to actually care for these children, because she is portraying a trait which is very reminiscent to Belle Lumiere, her foster mother. But it's just that, you know, still at this point in time, you know, just throw a few stars in there, Usopp. You know, wrap these kids up and call it a fucking day. But well, let's see if he actually does that. So that's it right there. That's it when it comes to that part. And like I said before, the rest of the episode was just slow. The pacing was atrociously slow. It was like, it's like, yo, like what time, yo, man, like what time is it, man? I'm cooking shit right now, man. Like what time is it? Like seriously, very slow. And animation, of course, as always, like I said before, could have been better. There's one part that, of course, I loved. It's a very simple part, but I love it because it's a law. Like, you know, just law doing his thing. Again, man, the guy can teleport in his own room, man. Room, warp, and then walks inside the laboratory. And I mean, listen, it was a very small part. It was like maybe like 10 seconds of the entire episode, but I don't care. 10 seconds of law, of elevated law, is a good 10 seconds. It's good, so I'll take it. And we saw a few scenes here of Frankie and Robin doing like the same thing we've seen him do for a while now, obviously. Frankie, he does like 2 strong right punches, takes out a few of Caesar Clown's subordinates. We have Robin taking out some of the Marines with her clutch, as always. I'm just waiting for Robin to have like a really good one-on-one fight. It's been so goddamn long, you know? Like, I mean, I'm a fan of Sanji, and I love Zoro and Luffy, of course, as always. And those 3 always are like the main highlight fights. But, you know, Robin, again, the last time she fought someone one-on-one was fucking Yama. And that was back in Skypiea. How many years ago was that? Shit. That was like 2006. That was like 7 years ago, maybe. Yeah, like probably somewhere around that time. Probably even later than that. So it's been a fucking minute. Seriously. And Frankie, he blows down the door with this radical beam, you know. I mean, again, like, we've seen the radical beam, like, 10 times now, so it's not as, you know, like, oh, shit, it's not like the first time when he does it, like, radical beam, like, you know, like, now it's like, radical beam, and we, okay, fine, fair enough, right? But there is one thing to keep in mind here, is that Caesar Clown, we all know that he doesn't really care about his subordinates that much at all. Like, he doesn't care. He portrays that he does care, but in fact, he does not care whatsoever. So what's happening is that when the Smiley's coming down, he's talking about how the Smiley, and that's very important. When it comes to his monologue, he says 2 main things. Number 1, Smiley right now is going from the burning side to the frozen side. Number 2 is that once it gets to the frozen side, everyone's going to experience what occurred 4 years ago. So he's gonna recreate that same incident where the island's gonna be covered in this poison gas, this H2S gas, and it's going to wind up killing. And that's very important to keep in mind, because in the episode we see that people cut Smiley, right? And then the Smiley emits the gas that killed Caesar Clown's subordinates like 1 episode ago. But these guys somehow are able to survive after smelling it and saying it's poison gas, and it'll keep away. Now, that makes no fucking sense. Obviously not. But just to let you guys know, if you were confused about that, that doesn't happen in the manga. That was an inaccurate filler scene put in by you know, Toei, because it just didn't make any fucking sense. It was like, these guys, these Caesar Clown subordinates died when they smelled this shit. They died. But these Marines don't pass out? At least, no. So, obviously, yeah, that was a fuck up. But, you know, like, that's the thing, though. Like, that's the thing. Like, when you're gonna put in filler scenes, at least let them be consistent with what occurs in the manga. And obviously, Toei, on that particular part, they fucked up. They just fucked up. So, it's unfortunate, but that's the way it is. The episode overall rating, I'm gonna give it a subpar. It was subpar. Like again, the animation could have been way better. It wasn't even okay animation. It was like meh animation. When it came to pacing, like slow as all hell. And character-wise, no one really developed. I mean, we got Caesar Clown coming in there again, a giant monologue, just fucking spin around, yeah. It was like whatever. We get it, all right. We get it. You're like the One Piece Aizen now. But that's it. I'm done. So subpar overall, and I'm signing out. Be sure to, of course, rate, comment, and subscribe as always. Peace. Have a nice day.